Hey, do me a favor. Take a look at the pattern on your shirt. Or, the print on your sofa. Ever stop and wonder where it actually came from? Well, you might be surprised to learn that you're surrounded by a secret code, a visual language that's been in the making for thousands of years. And today, we're gonna crack that code.
Seriously, whether it's a floral print, a simple stripe, or some kind of bold geometric design, that pattern isn't just there for decoration. Nope. It's a story. It's a fascinating tale of art, of global trade, and some pretty huge leaps in technology. And we're about to read it together.
And that's really the big idea here. Every single print, from a humble polka dot to an intricate floral, is like a chapter in a much larger book. It speaks of ancient traditions, revolutionary inventions, and that timeless human urge to just make our world a little more beautiful.
So to really understand this code, we have to go way back to its origins. So buckle up, we are about to take a journey through 4,000 years of history to see how this ancient art has been reinvented time and time again. Our journey starts all the way back in 2000 BC Peru. And get this, they were using surprisingly simple tools, clay cylinders to print border patterns on fabric. Now let's fast forward a few thousand years to the 17th century. Hand-printed chintz fabrics from India totally took Europe by storm. They became a huge status symbol. But the real game changer? That was the Industrial Revolution. In 1785, mechanized roller printing meant that cool patterns weren't just for the rich anymore. Suddenly, everybody could afford decorated fabrics. From there, screen printing in the 1900s made things even more accessible, which brings us to today, a digital age where a designer's only real limit is their own imagination. So from ancient clay rollers all the way to modern software, how does a designer actually build a pattern? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental toolkit that's been honed over centuries. Let's open it up and take a look at the two most essential tools inside. Okay, the first tool is layout. You can think of it as the blueprint for the whole thing. See, a pattern on a piece of fabric can't just stop. It has to repeat seamlessly, flowing in every direction without any obvious breaks or awkward gaps. Getting that repeat just right is probably the most critical first step. And check this out. This slide is a perfect example of the power of layout. On the left, you've got an all-over floral pattern that feels super organic, just flowing naturally, right? But then on the right, a patchwork layout uses a grid, which creates this structured, kind of geometric feel. Same idea, two layouts, two completely different stories.
The second essential tool is, of course, color. And this, the color wheel, is the key to everything. It shows us how colors relate to each other, which ones create a sense of harmony, and which ones create bold, eye-popping contrast. A designer who really understands this can use color to make a pattern feel calm, or energetic, or luxurious, or playful. It's really all about emotion.
Okay, so we have our tools, layout, and color. Now, let's open up the pattern book and explore some of the major families of prints. And I guarantee you'll find some of these hiding in your own closet. We'll start with geometric prints. At their heart, these patterns are just pure logic and math. They're built from those fundamental shapes we all learned in school: circles, squares, triangles, spirals, you name it.
And just look how visually dynamic they can be. Geometric prints can be really simple and minimalist or incredibly complex and intricate. They're modern, they're timeless, and they are literally everywhere, from our shirts and skirts to the curtains and cushions in our homes.
Next up, we have a category that is arguably the most beloved and enduring in all of design history: the timeless floral print. For centuries, flowers have been a symbol of nature and femininity in design. And what's really interesting is how different cultures tend to favor different flowers. Just think about classic English roses, or the delicate cherry blossoms of Japan, or even those iconic floral bouquets called butte from India and Persia. And for our final stop on this little tour, we are taking a walk on the wild side with animal prints. These patterns mimic the incredible designs that we find in nature: leopard spots, zebra stripes, giraffe patches. Now, historically, they were a huge symbol of wealth and power because they were made from actual, real animal hides. But today, thankfully, the look is achieved with fake fur, making this primal, eye-catching style accessible to everyone and, of course, much kinder to the animals. Okay, so we've seen the history, we've seen the tools, and we've seen the main types of prints. But how do designers actually create these effects on paper before they ever get to fabric? Let's take a peek behind the curtain at a couple of wonderfully creative hands-on techniques.
First up is the etching technique. It's what's called a subtractive process, which basically means you take things away to create the design. An artist starts by painting layers of color, one on top of the other. Then, with a blade or a scraper, they carefully scratch and etch away parts of that top layer to reveal the color hidden underneath. And the result is just stunning. By revealing that color hidden beneath the surface, the design gets this incredible texture and a real sense of depth. It's not just a flat pattern anymore. It almost feels three-dimensional. Another fantastic method is collage. Now, this is an additive process. So instead of taking things away, the artist builds the design up by cutting up and combining different pieces of patterns, colors, and textures. And you can totally see how this leads to these beautiful layered prints. It's a way of creating something completely new by reassembling things that already exist, giving the final design this really rich history and complexity right from the start. You know, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? From that first spark of an idea, through all the layout and color choices, and then finally to the printed fabric in our hands, it's this whole journey of creativity and technical skill. So the next time you get dressed or walk through a fabric store, you won't just see patterns. You'll see history, artistry, and a global story that's been woven right into the cloth. You now have the key to the code, so the only question left is, what stories will you see?